It's free, open 10 to 5. Partly started by a man who didn't want children. It's true. Anyway, here we are, we're on the High Street part of the Royal Mile. And you got a good chance to see how all the closes, these three alleyways, slope left and right down to the two valleys either side of the Royal Mile. See them Blackfriars Street here on your left. The Royal Mile is essentially a ridge of rock, like a spine if you like, from the castle ahead of us all the way down to Holyrood Palace. It's actually 1 mile, 106 yards long. It's a Scots mile. And it's a ridge of rock, and on either side we have two great valleys. The one on the left we call the Cowgate, and the one on the right, of course, we've already met. That's the Valley of Princess Street Gardens, shaped by the last ice age. So as the ice scoured its way from west to east, it smashed into the Castle Rock, itself a plug of an ancient volcano, split in two, and carved out these two great valleys either side of the Royal Mile. And in 1788, we opened this bridge. This is South Bridge. It doesn't look very much like a bridge, I'll give you that. But trust me, underneath our arches, underneath our wheels are 19 giant stone arches carrying this roadway across the valley of the Cowgate. And I know Stan's going to slow down a wee bit here because if you look left or right, you'll see down into the valley of the Cowgate, just to prove we are actually on a bridge. This is the only arch that's actually visible. And it was built like this because it was a monumental engineering project in the 18th century with a monumental cost. Nobody had money to pay for the South Bridge. So what they did was they lined it with shops and houses. And the rents and sales from these shops and houses, paid for the cost of the bridge. It was enormously successful. When it opened, the real estate on South Bridge was the most expensive real estate in the whole of Europe. Okay, so we're heading for stop 7 along Chambers Street. So the building coming up on our left, this is Edinburgh University Old College. Remember we saw the Great Dome from stop number 2, designed by the great architect Robert Adam. Started in 1784. One of Adam's most iconic buildings. It's got a beautiful quadrangle if you want to walk around there if you're not in this neck of the woods. It's got a nice wee art gallery as well. And this building here, this is the National Museum. So stop 7, anybody for stop 7? Nobody for stop 7 this time.
I've been there.
But if you're only going to go to one museum, you should go to this one while you're in town. My favourite is the Edinburgh Museum. This is a wonderful, wonderful museum. It's free, it's open 10 to 5 every day. There's many, many artifacts and exhibits. You should go if only to look at the great exhibition hall. It soars 125 feet high, it's 200 feet long, and it's lit by this great glass roof.
Oh, yes, we are.
It's astonishing. It's just a wondrous example of Victorian architecture and engineering.
It's weird pod bit.
And there's also a roof garden on the new park, by the way. You've got a lovely, lovely view of the town. There's Greyfriars Bobby across there. We'll see him again when we come back around. There's a wee bronze statue of a wee dog. In fact, Greyfriars Bobby, he is the how can we put it? A tale of love and devotion from a small dog. We're going in the big circle right now, so if you missed them, they'll be on your right when you come back around. But there's a wee statue there because the people of Edinburgh took the wee dog to their park. He was a real dog. He was a Skye Terrier. He was acquired in 1855 by a man called John Gray. And he would trot along at John's heels, his job around his work was a policeman, a watchman we called him in those days. But tragically, 2 years after acquiring the wee dog, John died of tuberculosis. He was buried in the Greyfriars Kirkyard. And that night, the watchman at the Kirkyard heard a scraping at the gate, and when he opened the gate, there was Bobby. There was the wee dog. He ran right past him and lay on his master's grave all night. And the next night, the same thing happened. And the next night, and the next night, and for 14 years, the wee dog lay on his master's grave until he himself died. And here's a wee stone inside the kirkyard as well. And if you go to my favourite museum, remember the Edinburgh Museum, there's an exhibition case about Greyfriars Bobby, and in the exhibition case, there's his wee collar. I know, it's so sad. So we're going a big circle, as I say. So on your right hand side, when we come around, you'll see the roof garden I was talking about on top of the museum. It's on the 7th floor, but good news is that there is actually a lift. So you do get some fantastic views of the old town. There we go, just up there on your right. Bobby's going to be on your right as well. And on your left is the Greyfriars Kirkyard, just past the green Greyfriars art shop. In fact, if you look down this wee pend here, you'll see a brown stone. That's Bobby's stone. Yes, here's a wee stone. Okay, so we're heading down through the wall again. Remember the Fordham Wall? That came right across here, so we're heading through one of the gates into the old town of Edinburgh, down the street called Candlemaker Row. So this is where the candlemakers were banished to the edge of the town. Because candlemaking, was a smelly, horrible business, mostly involving extracting the hard fats from animals to make tallow candles. And of course there was a great risk of fire as well, so they were banished to here. And we're heading down to the Cowgate. So remember, we crossed the Cowgate and we crossed South Bridge, so we're heading down towards it. And it's a great example of just how hard it was to get into Edinburgh and out of Edinburgh. Always down hills or up hills until we built these great bridges. And this is stop number 8 we're coming to. This is the Grass Market, the medieval marketplace of Edinburgh. Anyone for Grass Market? Nobody for Grass Market. So the charter for the market was granted by King James III in the 15th century, and look, it's still got a market today, 5 centuries later. This is a great place to come for lunch, by the way, if you're looking for a beer or a coffee or a nice meal. It's a busy place at lunchtime and indeed at night as well. The pub across there, the White Hart Inn, oldest pub in the Grass Market, where Robert Burns stayed on his last visit to Edinburgh. Dorothy and William Wordsworth stayed there when they visited Edinburgh. And of course it has this iconic view of the castle on your right. Probably the best view, I think, of the castle.
The castle.
So we're heading to the West Port. So this is the one of the other ports, and the Great Wall that surrounded Edinburgh. It does remind me a wee bit of the Westport murders of the early 19th century, where the great Edinburgh medical schools were in a bind. They were a bit short of dead bodies for their dissection classes. And Edinburgh University Medical Schools, they were the preeminent medical schools in Europe and indeed North America. But they were only like bodies from hangings and from suicides, and the supply was decreasing. So they let it be known that should you happen upon a body in the street, perhaps on your way to work, and you took that body up to the medical school, you would be paid handsomely, up to £10 for a body. Now, in 1825, that's about 4 or 5 months' wages for a labourer. And so once the criminal underworld got to hear about this, they knew a good scam when they saw it. Because we had graveyards, there was lots of graveyards, lots of dead bodies, what could go wrong? So they'd follow funerals to the graveyards, come back at night, dig up the body that had just been interred, take it up to the great economist, the great anatomist of the day, a man called Robert Knox, and get £10 per body. It was perfect. And 2 Irish immigrants who lived just across here on your right, where this 20th century building is now, a man called William Burke and a man called William Hare, had an old soldier staying with them, and who died. So they took him up to Dr. Knox and got paid £7.50 for the old soldier's body. And Burke and Hare went, bingo! Now, Burke and Hare didn't mess about, going to graveyards and taking up bodies and that kind of stuff. What they did was they lured people down to the pubs in the Grass Market, got them drunk, took them back to William Hare's lodgings across here, suffocated them, and then took them up to the medical school. for £10 a time. And they killed 16 people before they were discovered. They were horrible people, by the way. And but William here, unbelievably, he got let off scot-free. He turned King's evidence, which basically, hi there, hello. He turned King's evidence, which basically he spilled the beans on his friend William Burke, and William Burke wasn't quite so lucky. However, he was hanged in the Royal Mile before a crowd of 25,000 people in 1829. Because the great irony of the story is that after William Burke was hanged, his body was dissected by Dr. Knox. His skeleton still hangs today in the Edinburgh Medical School Museum.
Anyway,
What a gruesome story.
anyway, guys,
On our left hand side we have Edinburgh Castle. Show you what real gruesome events up there. What you'll see up there is the Castle Esplanade. That's where they have the tattoo of the year during the Edinburgh Festival. Great, there's a wall that's fallen over. The tattoo holds every year during the Edinburgh International Festival in August, if you want to know. If you want to come back at a busy time. This wee school on the left hand side has now been converted into the Scotch Whisky Experience, where you can find out all about whisky and a wee ride through
anyway, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.